Welcome to my channel Adhyan with Flow. So let's start with complex tissue. Yes guys, in our previous video we completed what? Simple tissue, and simple tissue, this is the part of permanent tissue. We already done this thing. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and last is sclerenchyma. Now let's move towards the some complex tissues. Why we say complex? Because they made up with more than one type of cells. Simple tissues, what kind of simple tissues feature? They made up with only one type of tissue cell, and they made up with more than one type of cells. So none other than example is xylem and phloem. Here is xylem and next is phloem. Okay, let's start one by one. Okay, now what is the use of xylem? First of all, we have to know that what is the use. We know that this is the complex tissue, they made up of more than one type of cells. This is the first property. And now second property, they conducting what? Water and minerals from root to the stem and leaves. This is the second property of xylem. This is the first property, this is the second property. Yes guys, you also write this property in xylem. Now they do what? Assume this is the stem part, root, leaves, flower and branch. Guys, what is the function of xylem? Xylem present all over the body, all over the body part of the plants. Okay, all over the body. But what they do? They're responsible for what? They're responsible for what? Only water and mineral transportation. That's it. It does not transport any kind of food material, starch material. No, they only transport what? Water and mineral. And now tell me guys, use some common sense. How? Where we get water and minerals? Of course, na guys, soil. From soil, our plant get what? H2O means water and also some minerals, nutrition. Yes or not? So here, root, what they do? Root, what they do? They absorb. They absorb what? Water and mineral. And then what they do? Root transfer their water towards the cell, and they face xylem. And xylem, what they do? They provide water and mineral each over the body part. Yes or not? Yes. I'm making a flow chart for you guys here. Guys, this is the root. What they do? Roots, what they do? They absorb. They absorb what? Absorb water and mineral from soil by roots. They absorb water and minerals. They absorb, yes. What do you think? What do you think that root is made up with only one cell? No, guys. If we dissect the root, then we saw multiple layer. First is like root hairs, then we face epidermis, then we face cortex, then we face endodermis, then we face phloem, then we face xylem. So here water molecules move towards where to where? First root hairs to epidermis to endodermis, cortex to endodermis, endodermis to phloem to xylem. Now this xylem, what they do? They transport. Xylem get water and minerals, you can say nutrition, from roots. Now xylem and their parts transport water and minerals throughout the plant. Means all over the plant, all the parts of plants, like branches, like leaves, like flower, like fruit, everything. Now you clear? Now you clear? Function is clear? How they transport? Okay, now some parts of xylem, what they provide? They provide mechanical strength. The third property is they provide, yes, they provide water and minerals. Okay, but they also provide mechanical strength to the plant. How? There are not only a single type of xylem, they further divided into their subparts. We will discuss later. Okay, we will discuss later. Okay, here this is the first property. You have to write when in examination they ask describe xylem with their parts, then you have to write their properties. First property, second property, third property, and fourth is they divided into four parts. Okay, let's see. First part is tracheids, second part is vessels, third part is xylem fiber, and fourth part is xylem parenchyma. Tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber, and xylem parenchyma. These are the what? These are the four element of the xylem. This only xylem made up with their four, and they make like this thing, and they transport. Assume this is the tracheid part. Assume this is the vessels part. Assume this is the xylem fibers. Look at here na guys, look at here. Tracheids, look at their structure. Look at their structure. Vessels, they look like this appearance. What they do? They transport water. They transport water. And what fibers will do? Fibers give strength. Okay, now there is a huge difference. This is important for your competitive exam. Guys, don't forget, I'm mentioning here. Gymnosperm. In gymnosperm, there is no vessels. There is no vessels. Vessels are absent in gymnosperm, but they are both present in angiosperm. Vessels and tracheids, they both are present in angiosperm, but this is absent in what? Absent in what? Gymnosperm. This is the exam oriented, competitive exam oriented question. I'm star marking here. Now let's take a brief discussion about tracheids. Now fifth point is gymnosperm lack vessels. Now sixth thing is describe tracheids. Tracheids, look at here. Look at here, the structure of tracheids. Look at here. This is the long tube shape. Look at here, na guys. Look at here. Look at the diagram. You will betterly understand that this is elongated or not. Yes. This is a tube shape like or not. Yes. Now their wall is very thick. Yes, guys, their wall is very thick, and they made up with lignin. I told you, na guys. Some cell have cellulose wall. Some cell have hemicellulose packaging. Some have lignin. If lignin is deposit, then they become dead, because they don't helpful for any kind of protoplasm. They don't have any kind of protoplasm. They are dead if lignin is present. If lignin is present in this cell, then cell become dead, and they make a hollow structure, so easily anybody can cross this thing. Tapering at end, look at here, the sharp pointed at that end. These are dead. Now at a 6, when we discuss 6, property number 6, tracheids, then you have to tell first what you tell. These are elongated, tube shape, lignified cell wall, thick wall, tapering ends. They are dead. They don't have protoplasm. Clear? Now the inner layer of cell wall have thickening, which is very inform. They want to say that this is the outer layer, lignified. But here is another cell wall also. Here is another cell wall also. They may be vary. It may be lignified. It may be cellulose. It may be hemicellulose. It may be pectine. Okay. Now in flowering plants, they want to say that angiosperm. Look at here. Next property is they have cell wall thickening. Inner wall is very. Okay. This thing is different. Now next point is in flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are main water transporting element. Okay. So you have to write. I'm star marking here: elongated, tube, lignified, thick, tapering, dead, absent protoplasm. Inner layer is made up with what? Inner layer is made up with very like cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, pectine, and flowering part. This is another property in flowering plants. They contain tracheids as well as vessels. Means angiosperm contain what? They contain tracheids as well as vessels. But if we talk about gymno, that does not have any kind of vessels. They have only tracheids. That's it. Okay. Now let's move towards the vessels. Property 6, 7th. I'm discussing here xylem, guys. Okay. And this is the part of xylem. First is tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber, Xylem Parenchyma. Vessels. Look at here. Their diameter. This is the diameter of tracheids, and they have larger diameter. They have high length. But compare than tracheids, they have less length. Okay. Let's read. Long and cylindrical, of course, long and cylindrical. Tube-like structure, of course, tube-like. Star mark here. Yes, long and cylindrical, tube-like structure, made up with many cells, called vessels. Remember, they made up with many kind of cells. Each with lignified walls. They also their wall is also made up with lignin. Okay, star mark. Large central cavity. They are lignified. I told you, guys. If someone is covered by lignin, it means they are dead, and they make only cavity, hollow space. Next property is the vessels are also devoid of protoplasm. Next point. Vessels member are interconnected through perforation in their common walls. They want to say that they have pores, guys. Oh, where? Look at here, guys. They have perforation. What? They have perforation. Means they can transport. They can easily transport. They have pore like this, guys. They have perforation. They make easy to transport. Okay, the presence of vessels is characteristic feature of angiosperm, because the gymnosperm can't contain vessels. They have only tracheids. So another star mark. Now let's move towards the xylem fiber. They are highly thickened walled, and they are obligated central lumens, and they are septate or aseptate. They can't to tell you, guys. Look at here. This is the fiber structure. You can assume this as a xylem fiber. Assume guys, look, the appearance is same. They are also lignified, thick and dead. What they do, when I told you that fiber, you have to understand that fiber, what they do, they provide strength, they provide structural support, mechanical support. Yes, yes or not? Yes. Now Xylem Parenchyma, look at here guys, Parenchyma, the term is very familiar. Parenchyma, the term is very familiar. Parenchyma, this is a part of simple tissues, hai na? Okay. Now xylem fibers are living, means xylem divided into four parts: tracheids, vessels, xylem fiber, and xylem parenchyma. This is present in gymno. These both are present in NGO, and all things are present in gymno, NGO, gymno, NGO. These three are dead, but this is live because they have protoplasm. Now they are living thin walled. Their wall is thin. Their wall is thin. Their cell wall are made up with cellulose. Their cell wall is made up with cellulose, not lignin. They store food material in the form of starch, fat. Yes, guys, I previously said that xylem responsible for what? Xylem responsible for water and mineral transportation. Xylem is responsible for strength as well as xylem also responsible for storage. In any case, parenchyma, they always what to do? They do storage function. They do storage function, but it does not mean they don't transport water. They also transport. They are also helpful in transportation. Guys, these are also helpful in radial conduction of transportation. This is cell and radial transportation. Okay. Now there is a two parts we will study further. Not now. We will study further what is protoxylem, what is metaxylem, what is endarch, what is exarch in detail when we discuss about dicotyledons, monocot, leaf, stem, and roots. When we talk about this, we will clear. But right now, we will take a brief discussion. So primary xylem is of two parts. Protoxylem, we will take a quick, not a detail, brief, only brief. We will discuss in further. Protoxylem and metaxylem. Look at their name, proto and meta. Which tissue made first? We call it as a proto, and later we call it as a meta. Simple. The first formed primary xylem element we call it as a protoxylem, and a later formed primary xylem is called a metaxylem. This thing is clear. I am giving you some little bit glimpse of protoxylem, metaxylem. In stem, when we discuss dicot and monocot, we will discuss in detail. In stem, the protoxylem lies toward the center part, means protoxylem here protoxylem at the center, they face toward the center, and the metaxylem lies toward the peripherum, and these are the metaxylem. They are faced toward the peripheral and they are faced toward the central. Yes, and this type of arrangement we call it as a endarch. In stem, endarch, this orientation is present. Protoplasm is inside and metaplasm is outside. Okay. Now in roots, the protoxylem lies toward the periphery and metaxylem lies toward the center. In roots, this is the discussion of stem. And if we talk about roots, what happened? This is the pith, and here is protoxylem is present at the periphery. Protoxylem outside, and metaxylem when they form later, they inside. They are what? Protoxylem, and they are metaxylem. Now you clear? Now you clear, guys? And you have to write one by one all properties. You have to write one by one all properties. What? Start with xylem. This is the first property. Second property, provide mechanical strength. Third property, describe their parts. Fourth property, describe their parts. And one by one, this is the fifth property, that gymnosperm does not contain vessels. These are the five properties of xylem. If they want some detailed explanation, then you have to describe their parts: tracheids, vessels, fibers, and parenchyma. This book already give you diagram, and you can take xylem fiber diagram and xylem parenchyma diagram. Okay, you have to draw diagram. Without diagram, you can't fight biology. Okay, then you describe what is part of primary xylem. You have to describe what is a part of primary xylem. Yes or not? Yes. You have to explain one by one: protoxylem, metaxylem, endarch, and exarch. Exarch is present in root system. Endarch system, this system is present in stem system. Okay. Okay. Now let's start with another complex tissue. This is the xylem. Now this term to describe again phloem. What is the function of phloem? They transport food, usually from leaves to other plant. Guys, you know, guys, in plants, this is a leaf. What they do? They perform what? Photosynthesis. They perform what? Photosynthesis. What do you expect? Photosynthesis. What they make? They make food for us. So every plant, they have huge leaves. What they do? They form food. They form food. They form food. They form food. And what xylem will do? What phloem will do? They take food and supply throughout the body of parts. Means they provide food throughout the body part of the plant, like stem, like root, like flower, like fruit. Yes or not, guys? Okay, yes or not, guys? Okay. The first property is they transport what? They transport food material. Second property is where to where, leaves to every part of the body. Second property is this. And third property, phloem is in angiosperm is composed of sieve tubes. Again, guys, important. Phloem again have multiple part, like sieve tube, sieve cell, okay, companion cell, phloem fiber, again phloem parenchyma. Yes or not? So sieve tube is present in where? They present in angiosperm. They present in angiosperm. And sieve cell they present in gymnosperm. Okay. Again, I'm making a star mark here. This is the competitive exam question. Competitive exam question. You have to remember this thing. Okay. Now gymnosperms have albuminous cell and sieve cell. Again, gymnosperm what they have? They have sieve cell, as well as what they have albuminous cells. What are the use of sieve cells and albuminous cells? They transport. No, they transportation. What? Food. Guys, phloem transport food. Like xylem transport water and minerals. Now, so phloem transport food throughout the body parts of the plant. Okay. Now gymnosperm, what they lack? They lack sieve tubes. They does not have sieve tubes, and they also don't have any kind of companion cells. Look at here. This is cell. It is also absent in these 2-3 lines are very very important. Which thing is absent in gymnosperm? Which is thing the absent in angiosperm? Because in this chapter we already discussed the anatomy of flowering plant. You have to focus in angiosperm and gymnosperm. Okay, we have to know what kind of features present in angiosperm and what kind of features present in gymnosperm, because this is the flowering part. Okay, let's talk about sieve tube. First part, let's talk about sieve tubes. First element is sieve tube. Okay, be focused. Look at here, be focused. Sieve tube, like name na guys, sieve tube, look like a sieve. It means they are long. Okay, tube like structure. Okay, arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cell. They want to say that this is the sieve tube. This is the sieve tube, and they are associated with what? They are associated with what? Companion cell. Now you clear, bachcho? Now you clear? This is the what? This is the what? This is the what? Sieve tube, and this is the what? These cells are companion cells. Companion cells. Yes or not? Next is their end walls are perforated. Guys, look at here, perforated. So they can easily helpful in transportation. Sieve-like manner of sieve plates. Okay, look at here. This is the sieve plates. Again, cells they also contain sieve plates. Okay, they possess a periphery cytoplasm. They have cytoplasm at the periphery, so they can't interrupt the flow of the food. Okay, they does not they lack nucleus. So if nucleus is present in this cell, so they interrupt the flow. They interrupt the flow. Now let's talk about companion cell. You have to write where I am underlining now. You have to write these features. Now let's talk about companion cell. Let's talk about companion cell. They are specialized parenchymatous cells which are closely associated with sieve tubes. Look at here, these are sieve tubes and these are companion cells. Okay, the sieve tubes element and companion cells are connected by pit filled present between their common longitudinal wall. Guys, this is a pit. Don't be confused. The companion cell help maintaining the pressure gradient in sieve tube. Yes, guys. But we will discuss these things when phloem transportation we study. Okay. Don't lose your calm. I will teach here. Don't worry, relax. Assume this is a sieve tube. This is the sieve tube. This is the what? Companion cell. This is the companion cell. Assume this is the phloem parenchyma. This is the mesophyll cells. Here food will form na. Food will form or not? Mesophyll cells, they what they do? They make food. After food complete, yes, food is available. This is the structure of, assume this is the structure of leaf. Here food is formed. Now they provide food to the phloem parenchyma. That phloem parenchyma take it or the food and transport throughout the body of the plant. Now what I'm writing here, mesophyll they helpful in food production. These are the phloem parenchyma. They take food from the mesophills. Now they transport food towards the companion cells. These are companion cells. Now they take food and then they take food and they transport towards the what? They transport food towards the sieve tubes. These are the sieve tubes. I'm talking about angiosperm because sieve tube is present in angiosperm. So food transport where to where? They are high. These solute are travels to their high concentration to low concentration because they have lots of solute and they feel pressure and they transport here. Why they feel pressure? Why they feel pressure? Because during sunlight, constantly food is formed. So they collect more and more food, and what they do? Transfer. They synthesize more and more food, and they what they do? Transfer. Then they get lots of food, and what they do? They feel the pressure and they transport here. We get lots of food and they transport here. They feel lots of pressure because they have lots of food, because they provide here, they provide here, they provide here, they provide here, and they provide here. Then after pressure gradient, they transfer their food. They load towards the sieve tubes. They load here, and they load here. So here sieve tubes collect lots of the food, and now this food want to move. This food want to move at the base part of the root. Assume this is the root part, and this food moves towards the root part. Okay. Now where I am. So this is a. I'm gonna teach you what is the pressure gradient. That's it. Nothing else. Yes. Okay. Next is what? Next is Phloem Parenchyma. Third is, look at here now. We discuss sieve tubes, we discuss companion cell and sieve cell present in gymnosperm and gymnosperm, and gymnosperm also contain albuminous cell. So gymnosperm we don't discuss here because we are focusing on the anatomy of flowering pod. Phloem Parenchyma, look at here their name, Parenchyma. They useful in storage or not? Tell me, fatabat. They useful in storage or not? Yes, they useful in storage. Okay. Also they are useful in transportation of food. Okay, they also helpful in transportation, but the mainly function of Parenchyma is storage of food. But they belongs with what? Phloem Parenchyma. So they also helpful in what? They also helpful in what? Food transportation. Now they are made up with elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells which have dense cytoplasm. Yes, guys, they are not dead. They are not dead. They have cytoplasm and nucleus because they are not transport water. Okay. The cell wall is composed of cellulose. If here is term is if I write lignin, then you have to assume yes, lignin means dead. But here is cellulose. Next property is clear. This property is clear. This property is clear. Now they have bits, so they easily can transport the food with the help of plasmata. Guys, I tell you now, this food is transport to here and this food transport to here. They transport with the help of desmata, opening, desmata. Okay, not in air. Okay, they have channels when transport here. They have channels. They have channels. They have channels. Okay, connection between cells. Okay, connection between cells. Phloem Parenchyma. Oh, wait. The Phloem Parenchyma stores food material and other substance. Another property I'm right down here, like resin, latex, and mucilage. You have to remember. Now, what is next function is Phloem Parenchyma is absent in most of the monocotyledons. Oh my god, this is the important competitive exam question. You have to remember at least exception. Okay, in which plant, in which kind of thing is present in angiosperm and which kind of thing is present in gymnosperm. Now, next is Phloem fiber. I'm telling you fiber. I'm telling you what is the main function of fiber. They provide strength. They provide strength. They provide strength. They provide strength. Rigidity, solidity. They are made up with sclerenchyma. Oh, come on, guys. Sclerenchyma. Wait, I show you. When I tell you now, assume this is a xylem fiber. Assume, guys. Phloem fiber is also look like this. Now you clear? They are lignified at boundary. Their cell wall is lignified. This is the same to same structure is phloem fiber. Phloem fiber also look like in this shape, and xylem fiber also look like in this shape. Now next is, these are generally absent in primary phloem but are found in secondary phloem. Guys, according to primary xylem, these are not responsible in primary xylem. They are responsible for secondary xylem. These are much elongated, unbranched. They are rigid, guys. They are rigid. They are unbranched and have pointed to end. Needle-like apex means very sharp. Very sharp. The cell wall of phloem fiber is quite thick. Yes, quite thick compared to xylem. They are quite thick. At maturity, these fibers lose their protoplasm and become dead. After lignin deposit, they are become dead. Yes or not? Phloem fiber of jute, flax. Oh my god, what a important line. Phloem fibers require jute in West Bengal. There are huge amount of production of jute. Flax, hemp are used commercially. Okay, the first formed primary phloem is consists of narrow sieve tubes and it is referred to as a protophyllum. According to protoxylem, if firstly formed xylem phloem, we can call it as a protophyllum. Later formed phloem, we call it as a metaphyllum. That's it. That's it. So that's all for now. I think this is more than enough for now. That's all for now. And thank you guys. Thank you for watching my video and keep supporting me. Subscribe my channel Adhyan with Flow and share also. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Wait. Keep smiling and remember this word, revision. Thank you.